Step 8, willpower fatigue. Participants are brought into a study and there's cookies, like delicious cookies there, and also radishes, like these disgusting vegetables. And one group of participants are told, nope, ignore the cookies, eat the radishes. The other group of participants are told, oh yeah, just eat whatever you want, eat the cookies if you want. Then they're brought in to do a puzzle, which is like impossible to do. The researchers are timing how long they'll try to do the puzzle for before they give up. What they found, which has went viral, is that the people who came in and had the radishes and essentially, they had to use their willpower not to eat the cookies, actually gave up earlier. The conclusion of this, which everyone has spoke about, is that willpower is something that fatigues. It's something that is limited and it drains, and so we shouldn't use it. Think about how stupid everyone is. Can you see what's wrong with this study? The puzzle is stupid. The task that they did was stupid. This was one study that all these little nerds online started to speak about, saying, yep, willpower is limited. Make sure you don't use your willpower. You can go search up, and it's unfortunate because he's very smart as well, but you can go search up a YouTube video called Willpower is for Losers, and it's made by this YouTuber called What I've Learned. And he's actually a really intelligent guy, but I just thought the video was stupid as fuck because you take this one study which essentially put participants to do a stupid task which they had no incentive for, and then we just conclude, yep, see, willpower's, limited and stuff. Actually, when you really think about it, the puzzle was impossible to do, right? So the participants who gave up earlier were actually smarter because it was a stupid waste of their time. And yet everyone online in the self-improvement space has been saying this for years, that willpower is not something you should rely on because it drains. Coming from a weightlifting background, I knew how stupid that mindset was, and you probably do as well. When you go to the gym, you know this, right? People are saying, oh, but if you use willpower, it drains. When you've got experience of the gym, you know what happens. When you use your muscles, it fatigues. But then we go to sleep and it's bigger and stronger tomorrow. That's exactly how willpower works. The idea is that we need to use our willpower like a muscle and understand that the muscles, of course, they fatigue and get tired. But when you sleep and recover, it comes back stronger and stronger and stronger. You shouldn't be avoiding fatiguing your willpower muscle. You should be training it every single day so that you're able to resist bigger and bigger desires. And plus, your mindset is very important. So Carol Dweck is a very famous researcher. She did the book called Mindset. And this study had the exact same findings as another study on stress, which is essentially like whatever your mindset of something is, that is what will happen. People who believed that willpower was a skill, like a muscle that they wanted to level up and it was good for them to use, actually got consistently better at using willpower. People who believed that willpower was something that they shouldn't use and that it was something that drained their energy got more and more tired when they used it. So it's why not just delude yourself into having the more empowering mindset and think to yourself, yep, willpower is a muscle, just like muscles are in the gym. And, I'll go train it. I'll do some sets today and then I'll come home, I'll rest and it'll be bigger and better tomorrow. In this mindset study, those students who believed that willpower was a skill that they could level up and it was kind of like a muscle, they performed better at the end of year exams than the students who didn't want to use their willpower because they were scared of draining it. And so we have one final question to ask. When do you reward yourself? You've been super dedicated on your diet, you've been resisting the desire of the sugar, of the junk food, you've not been watching porn, you've not been playing video games. When do you enjoy yourself? When do you have the reward? When do you take time off? What do you think I'm going to say to this? Do I seem like a pussy who's going to tell you the same thing as everyone else? Like, yo, go have your cheat day, bro. Yeah, you deserved it. Because I just want you to have the same mindset as me. Cheat days, rewarding yourself, is actually a punishment. The thing that you think is rewarding yourself, which you know that everyone else would think, oh yeah, I'm just going to reward myself. It's a punishment. When you really think about it, eating sugar is a punishment. It's not a treat. It's not a reward. It's a punishment. Playing video games for an hour and worsening your mental health is a punishment. We need to destroy this idea that the bad habit equals reward. And we need to just stop coping and just say to ourselves, the bad habit is a punishment. It's something we do when we don't like ourselves. Why do we need to take time off doing things that are good for us? We don't know. Certainly, for example, we're doing so many sets in the gym, so we're going to take a rest day. Sure, but that's not a bad thing to do. But to eat something that is literally poisonous for us, how far are you willing to go? Should we reward ourselves with some porn then? Alcohol? Sugar? Poison? How far are you willing to go? Because everyone who's watching this will understand, well, you know, we're not going to reward ourselves with porn. Then why the fuck would you reward yourself with sugar or with video games or with little snackies? If you wouldn't reward yourself with some porn, imagine saying that, bro, imagine saying that. Go comment that below my video. Imagine you've never seen someone comment that because of how absurd it would be. I've been working so hard. I've been doing so well on NoFap. So yeah, I've scheduled in a nice fapathon on, I have a fapathon on Sundays, you know, the rest days, haha. It would seem absurd, right? Having a cheat day from NoFap. Obviously, we understand that you might still mess up, you know, that you're not perfect at being on the good habits. Of course, you might mess up, but to delude yourself into thinking it's good for you. Remember how fucked our lives have been because of porn and masturbation, and like those, like, I don't know, researchers, teachers, whatever it was, tried to convince us that porn and masturbation were actually good for you because it'll lower your risk of prostate cancer or some bullshit. It's the same thing. And the worst part is, I don't even expect you to believe me when I say this because of how many like fitness influencers these days will disagree with this and say like, oh, but you know, cheat days are healthy, haha. Like, you know, you gotta have some sugar. You know, that's the most disappointed I've ever been in my own mother. One day when I was telling her about improving her diet, and I did say to her, like, you have like a sugary treat every single day at 2 p.m. It's kind of like her routine. And I said like, oh, you know, it's probably not good. Sugar's not good for you. And she looked at me as if I was stupid. And she went, in Urdu, but translated to English, she went, oh, but you've got to eat some sugar. No, you just have to. You've just got to. You've got to eat some sugar. You've got to poison yourself, guys. Oh, just, 10 minutes of fapping. You've got to watch a little bit of dungeon porn. Why do we have a belief in our minds that those things are rewards? Because when you think about it, a reward is something that should be good for you, right? So the reward is the workout. The reward is the clean diet. The reward is the good habits that you're doing. It is the meditation, the journaling, the cold showers. That is the reward. Those are gifts that you're giving to yourself, to your future self. Reframe this mindset that these good habits are the good things. We still have beliefs inside of our mind from normal people, from normal life before we got onto self-improvement that are deluding us to think that these habits are like the hard, bad things that we're doing and that, you know, you've got to reward yourself. You've got to have some time off. Certainly you can have some time off. You know, you don't want to just be like working 10 hours straight. Certainly you're going to go look at some sun and go out for a walk. And you're not going to exercise for 4 hours every single day. Of course, you're going to have rest breaks, but to specifically do something that you know is bad for you, why do we need to add that into our schedule at all? Why don't we? This is the mindset I have, which I just want to leave you with. Why don't you just start to see those bad habits as self-harm? The porn, the video games, the junk food, that's how I see them. I think that almost everyone self-harms to a certain level. When there's the extreme level, people are literally like suicidal and they're doing crazy things. And, you know, to a moderate level, they're literally like hurting themselves physically, mentally. But to the mild level where billions of people are at, they're playing video games. They're eating sugar, watching porn. How is that not self-harm when we know it's bad for us? It's just like a mild form and it's not as like brutal and gory as like, you know, like other forms of it. It's all self-harm. So let's rephrase the question, because this is a question I'm asked. Hamza, but when do we get to self-harm, Hamza? Once a week? You know, can I self-harm once a week, Hamza? See how stupid it sounds now? You don't need to. You should view those bad habits when they do happen. You should view that as like, fuck, my mental health was so bad that, and I disliked myself so much today that I just self-harmed with video games, with porn, because that's not good for you, right? Like that's like literally harm for your future self. But you shouldn't be thinking like, oh yeah, let's, you know, okay, Saturday the 26th, let's schedule some self-harm in there. Okay, 2 hours, there we go. Or maybe I'll do some self-harm with my friends actually. Yeah, 9 p.m. till 3 a.m. we'll go out. We'll all self-harm together in the club. There's going to be a really nice party. We'll go self-harm there. How stupid does that sound? If something's going to harm yourself, if it's going to hurt you, if it's going to sacrifice your future self's happiness and health, don't schedule it in. Don't, we need to stop believing that those things need to stay in our lives, that we've got to do a little bit. Don't be like my mother, bro. She's a beautiful, awesome, amazing woman, but don't have that mindset from her. But you've got to self-harm a little bit. You've got to eat some sugar. You've got to watch some porn. You've got to take some crack, right? So last and final actionable step, destroy the idea that the bad habits are the reward, and just start to update your belief system and just think to yourself, yeah, I'm not a average person. The good habits are the reward. I have gave a 5-part series. It's 5 hours long. I gave it live in ADONIS school, and they've got access to all the recordings there, plus along with all the other teachings that I've done. ADONIS School is the top link in the description. It's where I go every single day to teach these concepts, which I'm personally learning far before I make them for this full guide. It's where you go into my live calls and you get to ask me personal questions, ask for advice. Then we've got multiple teachers. We've got a masculinity teacher who specializes in testosterone. We've got a sleep coach. We've got a purpose coach so you can figure out your core desire in life. We even have a Buddhist monk who teaches meditation and dopamine detoxing, and also how to restrain. Buddhism's a lot about restraining your desires. It's such an incredible place to be. And I have full confidence telling you that I really think that if you can afford it, it is somewhere that I would highly recommend. Scroll down to the description of this video right now and go click that top link to go check out ADONIS School. Just do me one tiny favor for making this full guide. Just spread positive word of mouth about it. When you speak to someone who needs this topic, this education, just literally say it to them. Oh, you should watch Hamza's Willpower full guide. When you're in the comments of some random YouTube video and someone's commented this, or you're on a Discord server, just mention it when you think it's relevant. You should go watch Hamza's Willpower full guide, Hamza's Discipline full guide. I would love if there was these mentions all around the internet for these kinds of videos, because I really do think this kind of video, this guide, will start to take over the internet compared to the mundane, basic top 7 ways to make money online, just the shitty videos that don't help anyone. And if you want to see that transformation on YouTube, if you want to see creators make more step-by-step full guides, which are pretty much paid courses but for free, then share it round so the YouTuber gets more positive feedback and that more people get to learn from it. That's such an awesome way that you can just sort of help me personally. You can go and watch this video too. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah!